Happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you have a long week of great food, a lot of great football, and a lot of relaxation. Well, actually, for fantasy managers, I don't know if we're going to be able to relax. Fantasy playoffs are right around the corner, and every decision is just as important as the next. So, if you have any questions about your lineup or you just want a second opinion, drop it in the comments. I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Let's kick off this video with a quick Week 12 recap. This, of course, is from last week's video. We went 5-3. We're not perfect, but I mean 66-28 on the year is pretty good. It's only right if I kick it off here with some Thanksgiving action. And we're going to do that for the first two plays. DJ Moore, a guy that had 10 bad weeks to start the year, but hey, the last 2 weeks with the new offensive coordinator, he's been pretty good and back to his normal self. But that leaves us perplexed here as fantasy players. Do we want to trust him to kick off this oh-so-important week, again, on Thursday Night Football or Thanksgiving Day against a tough Detroit Lions defense? That's a big question. But DJ Moore, over the last 2 weeks, has been a top 8 wide receiver, averaging 21 fantasy points a game in full PPR formats. Now, he's playing Detroit. Detroit has been the 6th best matchup for wide receivers all season long. And I said, okay, Detroit has been a pretty good defense as of late. So let me look at DJ Moore's numbers against them last year, right? Well, last year he was averaging just about 6.5 receptions a game and 82 yards with a touchdown to go along with it. DJ Moore has produced against the Detroit Lions defense. I understand that Detroit is 10-1. They're dominant, and it's scary to play anybody against them at the moment. But we're going to start DJ Moore. Before we move away from Thanksgiving, let's dive into the late game slate with Miami on the road in snowy conditions against the Green Bay Packers. Now, I want to dive into some analytics here with me, so stick with me here with the Miami defense. They are top 5 in touchdowns allowed, so they don't give up many points despite how bad that quarterback situation has been in Miami all season long. So that's a good sign. But on the flip side, they don't get many sacks, right? And when you pressure Jordan Love, he's very turnover prone. And that's coming from a Jordan Love truther. Jordan Love is going to throw these 50-50 balls. So in a must-win game for Miami, hopefully they're on their P's and Q's. Hopefully they're sharp. And even in cold conditions, if Jordan Love needs to throw the ball, hopefully Miami can come away with a couple of those. But I think snowy conditions, it's going to be a run-heavy game for both teams here. Control the clock, make minimal mistakes. And for that reason, I'm going to say Miami, we just need a couple sacks or maybe a pick or two, but we're going to start their defense. Another player I love, well, he's not playing on Thanksgiving, but in the early game slate on Sunday is Jordan Addison. I love the wide receiver prospect. I wanted my Browns to get him, in all truth, but I mean, hey, he's in Minnesota, and last week, career high game, 8 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown to go along with it. Jordan Addison stepped up in the minimal production that they were able to get from Justin Jefferson, but I think that's going to flip this game. Even though Addison's been the wide receiver 4 over the last 2 weeks, and Arizona is about a middle-of-the-road matchup, but we know Arizona gives up some pretty big plays. I think it's going to be Jay Jetta's game. I think this is going to be a game where Jefferson says, okay, I had an off week. That's a rare off week. Now it's back for me to shine here at the highest level like he always does. My only worry is that it's going to be Jay Jetta's game for Addison, and there's a blowout potential here. Even though Arizona has a pretty good record, we saw their true colors last week. And again, I'm a Kyler Murray fan. I'm talking about a lot of players I love here. But I think there's a real blowout potential with Minnesota. So Jordan Addison, even though he's been hot, this might be a shocker, but we're not going to roll with the hot hand here in this one. Before we get out of here, here is the full list of my start sits for week number 13. If you've seen X next to the player's name, then we covered him in today's video. But Tony Pollard there against the Commanders defense. The Commanders defense has been shaky yet again here. It was down, then it was up when they were on their win streak, and now it's back down to kind of where their true colors are. So Tony Pollard should get a lot of work there against the Commanders. JSN, we're going to continue to roll with them. He's been on the starting list all season long, and it looks like now officially he's the wide receiver 2 there in Seattle. So I don't care who they play. I like JSN to start. Shakir, Sunday Night Football against the Niners. The Niners are desperate. They need a win. That could be a sneaky high-scoring shootout. Now, for the sits, Ramondre against the Colts defense, again, ever since Drake May has been the quarterback, it's not so much on Ramondre's shoulders anymore, which leads to less fantasy production. So Ramondre, we're going to sit him against the Colts this weekend. Now, the shock of this list might be Jonnu Smith there at the bottom of the list We're going to sit him this week on Thanksgiving here against the Packers. Snowy conditions. Again, could be a low-scoring game, could be a run affair. And I just think Green Bay, in these conditions, they're more primed for it. And we're going to sit Jonnu Smith despite the crazy hot start. If you need a tight end in replacement of that, of course, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But outside of that, if you have any questions about your lineup or you just want a second opinion, I'm here for you. Drop it in the comments.